We'll get started in a couple more. Oh, wait. Almost.
Almost.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Okay. So this year we have 6 projects. There are accessible games, sports chair, aids to daily life, bike steering, a collaboration with EU, and there's also a wireless switch team. So let's go into details.
Figure out how computers work. So the first project will be continuing on a project from last year, where they worked on a Switch accessible game. So this is a device that could hold cards, and then you could use Switch scanning to select the card. The prototype worked roughly, but what when we're talking with the end customer, they identified that there's some accessibility needs here. And what we really want to do is create a robust prototype that we can put on Makers Making Change, which is a open source website for accessible technologies and stuff that will use switch scanning technology. So switch scanning is, imagine you have 4 different tiles on a screen and it would light up 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you press a button when you say you want 2, and it lights up, you press a button, and then you have that card will drop down. So this team will be working on really incorporating switch scanning into board games. So we'll be working on both this card game, but also other designs that they would like. So maybe Candyland or other games. And then we'll also be working on Ace Daily Life for a individual who just graduated college and will be moving out on his own for the first time. So now he's, in high school, he's been always a little shy on using accessibility needs and accommodations, right? Because he just kind of want to fit in with everyone. But now he recognizes he wants to live on his own. He has his own job, his own life. He really doesn't want anyone hanging around to help him out. So he needs some help identifying what those needs are and how we can help them. So you'll be working with him to identify things to help with transferring in his wheelchair, brushing his teeth, cooking on his own for the first time, all sorts of things like that.
Oh, right. And this next project, working with a same group of clients, but a different client, I guess, profile. We're thinking about a young child with hemiplegia who is unable to use their hands to steer a bike. So we are looking for a group of students to adopt commercially available bikes for basically with prosthetics or other solutions to be able to steer this bike without external assistance. And bikes are, at least in America, a huge kind of benchmark of growing up. Like whenever you learn how to ride a bike, that's like, oh my gosh, you're more independent, that kind of thing. So similar to our toy adaptation and Go Baby Go programs that are offered as the IDEA Design program, this is another way of increasing access to sort of developmental tools for children with disabilities and their parents. So I think this would be a super cool project. I do want to note that this one and the previous one are sort of 95% confirmed. The rest of the ones we're going through, they're definitely going to place teams, but I mentioned this again at the end. We may have to shuffle teams around when we find out fully about the capacity of the last 2 projects. The EU collaboration that Valerie mentioned, if you haven't heard of the Experimental Education Unit, they are a unit in, I believe, the School of Medicine, sort of. They're very interdisciplinary.
They're a combination between rehab medicine and
right. And so basically what they do is provide inclusive education to children with and without disabilities. They have wanted to work with us for a while, and we finally made this happen. But what they focus on is kind of thinking about is, number one, they're moving into a new space and looking to help their children adapt to that. But number 2, they also have a lot of needs finding to do with the children that they're currently teaching for the school year. And so the team that will be chosen for this is going to embark on primarily during fall quarter and winter quarter, a lot of, until you do prototyping, some very intensive need finding related to inclusive education. So if you're particularly interested, a lot of you are probably interested in this, but in terms of co-design and sort of that usability, like an ACDE testing, that sort of thing, this would be the right product for you.
And the fifth project is sports chair. So there's this client who kind of wants to find different ways to be able to transport his basketball chair while being on his day chair. During the brainstorm or the first activity, you probably know a lot of chairs do get damaged when they're flying, but chairs also, especially basketball chairs, because of their design, they also get damaged quite easily during the transportation process. So if you're interested in that, like sports related stuff, definitely, I think that's a good one.
That our outfit here is a place for Seattle Adaptive Sports. So we'll be going there and visiting them as well. But something really cool about basketball chairs is you actually have to take the wheels off to transport it safely. So you'll also be considering that as well as a towing mechanism.
We should have put a video of Wheats for basketball up there. It's metal.
It's really, really fun to watch. If you guys want to look it up on YouTube, it's so much fun to watch. And it's really fun to play too.
Yeah.
And so this final one is wireless switch. It's based off, or it's a continuation of like last year's design. So basically, if you have come to like previous HuskyADAPT like toy adaptations events, you probably have seen like the big red button. But like for this one, we are trying to find ways to make like a wireless button and make it more like out.
So basically we'll be continuing on the design from last year and finalizing it so that we can use, typical Bluetooth switch costs about $180 to $250, and that's for a single switch. We'd love to create a wireless option that you can use with your iPad, your phone, your computer, to control media on there, use it for early AAC devices, etc. So this team will be working on finalizing last year's concept and really getting a robust prototype that we can create in parallel with toy adaptations and get to families to be using.
And by the way, each of your projects are also going to have one of us kind of being one of the co-mentors for it. I was the co-mentor for this project last year, and even though we have a great prototype working, there is a lot of work that needs to be done in all kinds of the design, the industrial design, the manufacturing commercialization part of it, and also in the communication aspect, like how wireless signals are actually transmitting back and forth. So if you're an ECE, this project might be great for you.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Or you're just interested in embedded systems. It's a really fun project to work on.
Agreed.
And then finally, we will be sponsoring another capstone project again this year for anyone who's a fourth year Mechie. We will not only be doing Mechie this year because some complications with bioengineering. And this team will be working on bike modifications to allow a young kiddo with cerebral palsy to bike further and longer than he currently can on his recumbent bike. So if you're interested in this, email me. This project won't be starting till the Mechie capstone starts in winter quarter.
Yes. So let's take a step back a little bit from all these projects and kind of think about, okay, so you go through this year, you have this project, but what is happening at the end of it, right? So on one hand, you have the client who has a need for your product. So by the end of the year, you'll be having a finished prototype and extensive documentation of that prototype. For projects that are selected to move through the next year, for like other iterations, or for just more development, like the wireless switch project and the Switch Accessible Games project for this year, the documentation has been helping us set up and scope a project tremendously. And it'll be great for not only the second year client who's working with us on the Switch Accessible Games and the team that comes on, but also for the wireless switch team continuing this year. Documentation is important. We're going to try to teach you that this year. And the finished prototype can be everything, not only open sourcing it, uploading to Makers Making Change, shared with your niche expert partner, extend it to your research project. The end goal of this prototype might be depending on the project, but you are going to have something that you've iterated multiple times. But then that's the client side. We're also here to teach. You're here to learn, hopefully, while you're creating this sort of product. And so we want to provide to you a learning experience in accessible technology. And that could be everything from design and engineering and how to use tools to create things that visually look good and communicate some sort of a purpose, and also making it work functionally, but also in research, in usability testing, in communicating with clients and other team members, in documentation, in mentorship, hopefully allowing some of you to be team leads and kind of get that project management experience going. We want this to be a holistic experience where you come out of this a better student, a better engineer, a better designer, a better, a pre-med student, better biology student, a better everything, and a better communicator.
A better human.
And a better human being at that.
So.
And that's why we sort of have these bi-weekly workshops. We have this experience here. You'll find out more as the year goes on.
So just a reminder, this year's design projects are the Switch Accessible Games, Aids to Daily Living, Bike Steering, the EU collaboration, basketball wheelchairs, and the wireless switch. We'll take any questions you guys have. And if you're interested in joining a design team, please fill out this application by next Tuesday. And we have pizza, so grab some pizza and hang
Not
out.
yet. Don't grab pizza because we don't have plates or napkins for you. Anyway, question.
Was it being approved or being like that we're gonna take on the contract?
Yeah, we're still going through we have the final meetings the next couple days to confirm projects. Those will be the bike
That's true.
steering and the ADLs.
Out of Ace Daily Life. Yes, question? Oh, I need to open it right now. That's the problem. I'm gonna end the show real quick. Stop sharing. And I'm going to go into here and accept responses. Right now, it says waiting for responses. No rush, guys.
Yeah, it will take a bit to fill out the form. You guys don't need to fill it out right now.
Yeah.
Like
and
do it at home. It'll take you guys a couple minutes. Like I want you guys to think through the different projects.
yeah, and I think they're still sharing. Okay, perfect. And I guess to be perfectly clear too, we say this at the beginning of every year. This application is not intended to be competitive. We want to get you and your motivations better to be able to place you on the team that you will have the most success on, and that is closest to your interests. That being said, with all these different teams, we're looking at about between 30 to 40 spots. If we get more applications than that, we will have to be selective. And we will communicate that to you near the end of next
But
week.
it's not based on your skills, right? You're not going to be, if you have no CAD experience, you're not going to not be placed on a team, right? We try to pair people on teams that are successful, that want to be a part of HuskyADAPT, right? We welcome everyone from all majors, all walks of life, all years, whether you're a first year who's been on campus for 3 weeks now, or a grad student who's been here for longer than you want to say. Everyone is welcome to be here. And we welcome anyone in the room. If you don't get to be a part of a project team, there's other ways to get involved in design. You're still welcome to come to workshops and learn what we're doing. You are welcome to go on tours with us of companies. We will be doing hackathons in the spring, and we have toy adaptations and Switch builds and other things that will be happening throughout the year.
All right, I'm going to share the screen up here real quick just because my laptop is going bonkers and not letting me use my mouse. And we also got a question on Zoom asking if we mentioned a bioengineering capstone project option as well. That's something that we've had in the past, but are no longer offering this year because of just complications with the bioengineering capstone program. So unfortunately, this is mechanical engineering only, and Mia's trying to find where. Oh yeah. Oh, perfect. I can just also start doing the presentation again. Let's see, play from start, go all the way over. This is where we have the capstone information once again.
There will not be a bioengineering capstone this year.
Yes.
Because our collaborator in bioengineering has left the department.
That's also true. Melissa Taylor was awesome. Back to the QR code. Did everybody get this? Also chat. Yeah, this is the problem with like the.
I got dollars.
Perfect. Okay.
Turn off the captions of this for the screen.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
No, leave those going. And then put
Oh, then the closer captions. Okay, got it. There we go. Cool. So yes, you did see Valerie and I bringing in boxes of pizza. We don't have for these, so we're trying to get at least napkins. I was downstairs for that. Otherwise, it is like 6:14. I think this is the plan is going to be
We'll
okay,
hang up here if you guys have any more questions.
yes, for pizza we did say we were going to have them eat downstairs, right? So you can't eat here. Nobody's like checking. But we do. We have this room booked until 6:30, so you can now here ask us questions, talk to your fellow students and attendees. When we get plates or some. Oh, perfect.
And then awesome. And then please leave your note cards with your ideas on the table. We'd really appreciate that.
Yes.
Or you can bring them up here when you come and get pizza.
Yes. Any other questions for the other group? Yeah. What's up?
Yes, they
Yes.
will go out. They will go up on the website.
Yeah, and that'll probably be in the next 24 hours. We
As
did
soon-
not
or
record
they'll
this.
actually be emailed out because the website's down
Oh, that's true.
right now.
Also, we did not record this.
It's
Oh,
still
no, it was,
recording. It's
okay, never mind.
recording.
Okay. Yeah, and we post the recordings on YouTube, so if anybody missed the presentation or this event, fortunately, they won't be able to get pizza, but you can send them the YouTube recording link when it goes up. Any other questions? If not, what is
Yes.
Valerie? Oh, yeah, what's up?
That would be talking with us.
Yeah, basically, all that we have in the slides is all that there is to know about the project so far. I mean, we have like
I mean,
details.
we have detailed. If
Yeah,
you want like very in depth, like we will, like we can't give you guys information until you guys get placed on the team.
yes.
We can give you guys the broad idea. You can ask questions and we can answer. But the end goals for each project, I can give you guys a brief idea really quick. Slide.
Yeah, is any project in particular that you wanted to find out more info about?
So this goal of almost every project is to open source it and get it online, either on a GitHub page or repository or a Makers Making Change site, so that anyone around the world can access it, which is why we're going to be really stressing documentation this year so that we can share those designs. And then we'll be getting a prototype to every individual that we're working with. Yeah, so like,
I don't have.
let's go away from the recording.
All right, I think pizza is. Yeah, I'm not, yes, you can grab